Oh my gosh, it has been a week. Does anyone else work in academia? Because academia is sometimes just like, let's make the worst possible decisions at the worst possible time and call it strategy. Anyway, I'm glad it's Thanksgiving week. I thought with this video, I'd kind of show you my primary devices, what I like about them, and yeah, how I store them on my desk also, which is this really cool bamboo. It's super solid rack that I got on Amazon, and I will post a link to that in the description. Anyway, these are my primary devices. I did end up selling the Palma. It was a great little device, but I just didn't see how it was going to fit into my needs. So that's gone. So these are the ones that I've had for a while and did not return and will probably never sell. First of all, there's the Supernote A6X. This is not going to be in depth. I'm just going to give an overview of each of my things. This is the A6X. I use it all the time. And probably my favorite feature that none of the other devices have is the ability to make headings and kind of make a table of contents using the lasso tool. So for example, with this notebook, it's just kind of my scratch pad. So it's got a lot of different stuff in it, and I can go to the headings and see what's in my scratch pad that's important. So like click on those, click, tap, and go to those notes. That is for me the most useful thing that I do not have on my reMarkable. I don't have on my Scribe. The books devices don't really do it that I've been able to figure out. And it just adds a layer of usability to an e-ink tablet where you can actually find what you wrote before and organize it somehow. So I love the headings. I love the different things you can do with the lasso tool, how you can link within notebooks. I always just used the standard pen that came with it, but recently I got the Lamy EMR pen, and I like it. So, pros, note-taking tools, the best by far. Cons, the major one for me is the cloud service, the syncing. At one point, I had both the A6X and the A5X, and I wanted to kind of sync between them the way you would with iOS devices. It does not work that way. It was kind of complicated, and I ended up losing some stuff. And then I was just trying to transfer with a USB drive back and forth. That was a bit unwieldy. So I sold the A5X and just stuck with this. I wish the syncing was better and that once the thing was on my computer, I could do more with it. The cloud, it's okay. I mean, it's fine. You can sync it up with Google Drive. I haven't tried that. But anyway, just for like pure usability as a note-taking device, the Supernote is great. It's also very durable. So when I throw this in my bag or my backpack, like I just do not worry at all. Oh, the other main really important feature for me and why it's useful in this size is that it has the Kindle app. It's not the fastest. It takes a while to launch. It's not like using a real Kindle. We're still waiting for the app to open. There it is. But then once you're in it, it works well enough. And what I like about it that you can't actually do with the Scribe, if you want to make a note, the Scribe lets you make these handwritten notes, but then they don't translate necessarily to every single device. The one thing the Scribe doesn't do yet is handwriting recognition for making a note. So with the Supernote, I can say, this is a note on a book, and it recognizes it. and I can save it. So I still can effectively do handwritten notes like on the Scribe, but they actually turn to text, which is ultimately more useful than the handwritten notes. So I like the A6X. It does just about everything. I really wish it had some kind of a front light because I'm just that way. But if you're in good enough lighting conditions, as you can see, it's totally fine. But if I'm going to just grab one thing to go to a coffee shop, it's often going to be the Supernote because I can take notes and I can read client manuscripts in the Kindle app and handwrite my notes and have them transform to text. Next is the Scribe, which I've already made quite a few videos about. But I will say the more I use it, the more I like it. And the backlight makes a big difference for me because if I'm just kind of sitting in the living room in the evening where the light isn't great and I just want to grab something and read a little bit or do a little journaling or take a few notes, it's right there. It's fast. It's responsive. It's lit up. It works. It's pleasurable to hold, it's pretty nicely made. And I'm even getting used to holding it like in bed. So anyway, I've talked enough about the Scribe here, so let's move on. Then there's the reMarkable 2. This was my very first e-ink device that got me into this whole thing. And, oh man, the reMarkable. What can I say? This thing is kind of still my favorite and in some ways also the worst. It is so sexy. I love holding this and working on it. Like, it is so thin. It is so good looking. It's a hunk. It's a babe. The writing experience is the best. I love, especially when I have a brand new nib on the pen and I can just write and it feels so good. Feels great. Sounds great. A few updates back, they did something that I still have not gotten over, which is when you want to turn the page and start a new page, you have to do this additional tap. It honestly drives me crazy because I don't like the continuous scroll. They added that when they added continuous scroll. So I could, in a note, just like keep writing and writing to the bottom. I don't like that. I don't want that. But you have no option to toggle that off. And so now, yeah, when you want a new page, I already made that page, so it's there every time. You got to hit that. Now, if you're a fast writer and you're journaling or something, that is a pain in the ass. And so a lot of times if I'm starting a new notebook or I'm working on a long document, I just sit here and add like 10 so that I don't have to do that every time. And then I have, like these 10 blank pages that I can write on. But come on, man. Make continuous scroll an option to turn off or on. Also, there's not very many note-taking features. You can use tags. That's okay. But once you've used the Supernote with their really robust features that are just, for me, the perfect amount of features, not too many. Like for me, the books devices have too many features. Supernote has the exact right number of features. The reMarkable, I just want a couple more features. Or if no features, just let it at least act like a paper notebook where I can turn the page without having to take an extra step. Anyway, I don't see myself ever getting rid of this though because it feels so good to write on. And if I really want to get into a zone and I'm in a nice well-lit space, because again, no front light, I'll just write and write. The other thing that is the best about the reMarkable and why I keep it is their desktop app. Now, granted, I have the like $2.99 a month Connect subscription that gives me access to everything. I don't care if that's not very much. I probably lose that much in my car every month. Well, first of all, let me explain. With the writing tools, you can choose colors for these, okay? So you can do black, gray, white, blue, red, limited palette, granted, but you can choose colors for that as well as for the highlights. The highlighter, you have yellow, green, pink, gray. Why does this matter? Well, when the notebook syncs to the desktop app, which it does instantly and smoothly in my experience, there's my highlights, the notes where I wrote over my notes in blue in some spots when I was going over some important bits I wanted to remember. I can look at this all at a glance. I just love how smooth this is. And everything winds up in the desktop app as PDF. But for pure reliability and usability and having the instant syncing to my desktop and being able to just look at all the pages of my notebook, look at my main highlights, quickly go to a page, it is so useful for me in my work. So I end up using this a lot for journaling and for client and student notes. I've been trying to use my Scribe more for that so I can see what use I can really get out of the Scribe. But all you can do with the Scribe is kind of send yourself a PDF notebook and then Amazon sends you a link and then you got to click the link. This is how I want everything to sync. I also want a light and I also don't want to have to tap that page to turn it. Now, I tried the keyboard folio that they brought out earlier this year, did not like it, sent it back. So I just handwrite on this. I don't really use the text features. Next is the Freewrite Traveler. I've done a short video on this before. You know, these devices are surely luxury items. No one needs this. The company likes to make it sound like, you know, you get one of these and you're going to be writing like 5,000 words a day and you use their method and it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to your writing. I wonder if my battery's dead because it's just been sitting for a while. Maybe I need to hold it down. No, I might have a dead battery. Anyway, that needs to be charged. You can go watch my dedicated video, which I know is short. I can do a longer one on this if you want, but it's pretty straightforward. You type on it. You can send it to yourself. You have to use keyboard shortcuts to do any editing functions or arrow keys, which are minimally functional. It's cool though and fun, and if you just like to have all the cool fun gadgets, it's a pretty nice one. Lastly, the Alphasmart NEO. Oh, Alphasmart NEO, how we love you. They don't make these anymore. But Astro House or Freewrite, the company that makes the Traveler that I just showed, is bringing out a kind of new version of this. They've partnered with Alphasmart or paid them for their branding. I don't know, but they're bringing out a new one that was like a Indiegogo. I bought that in the pre-order Indiegogo campaign because I know based on my previous experience with this company that it's going to get super expensive. It's already expensive. Anyway, I got it. It's not here yet, of course, because they're always like months and months behind on everything. But I thought I'd show you the device that inspired that, which is this old Alphasmart. Now, these things were originally used in the classroom to help students learn typing, keyboarding. You used to be able to find these on eBay for like 20 bucks as schools were getting rid of them. Most of them will have like the old school sticker on it and stuff. So I grabbed a few of these back in the day. Now they're harder to find because they're not making them anymore. And so people that are fans of this are kind of buying multiples like I did, or word about them is getting out and people are using them more. There's some great things about this. You can type and type and type. The batteries, it's on AAA or AA batteries, last forever, really forever. The only times I've changed the batteries is when I worry that they're gonna like start corroding in the device, so then I put fresh ones in. The typing feel is really nice. You get a few lines on the screen here. This is not e-ink. This is like old-timey LCD, I think they call it. Now, the biggest issue with these devices is getting the text off of this into your computer or whatever the next phase of the thing is. You have to plug in a cord right here, that thing, and then you plug the other end as USB, you plug it into your computer, and then you open up the program. You could use any program that'll accept text will work, and then you hit the send key, and then you cannot touch it or toggle out of the program you're sending it to, or let your computer go to sleep or anything. And it kind of speed types transfers the text onto the computer. I guess I could just show you. Okay, here it comes. There you go. Like I said, you cannot toggle away from this screen or let your computer go to sleep or anything, or it'll stop and you'll have to start over. And then you can't write on it while it's attached to your computer. But yeah, these were kind of the original distraction-free typing devices. I know a ton of authors who still use theirs, especially for first drafting. I wrote the whole first draft of my third book on a version of this device called the Dana that had a slightly bigger screen with a light. Anyway, they don't make them anymore, and that's where the Freewrite and Astro House have kind of stepped in to this marketplace. I still think they're worth grabbing if you can find one for a good price online somewhere. A lot of them are still in just really good condition. You can tell schools bought a bunch and didn't use them that much. I think one of mine I for sure bought new from the company, and then one I think I got on eBay. There are older versions of this too that you can find that are kind of cool. They're a little stickier to use, but let me show you the original. Here is one of the Alphasmart 3000s, which has the slightly transparent thing going on, which is coming back into style. These are a bit rattlier. The keys are a little sticky. They just take a little more force. But these are fun. I don't really use this. I just kind of have this as a collector's item because I think they're cool. And it sends to the computer the same way. You gotta connect it, hit the send button. And as with the Neo, you can have 8 separate files of text. And I know there's a limit. They'll each hold a lot of text. I've never come up to the limit. I tend to write small chunks, get them on my computer, and then start a new file. Oh, and last but not least, although soon to be defunct, an iPad. Listen, these things are great. This is about to die. This is the very first version of the iPad Pro. It's a 9.7. I have like a paper-like screen on it and a skin, but it's finally completely dying. The battery does not last for more than a few hours at a time. I don't travel so much anymore for work. I think if I did travel a lot, I would reinvest in an iPad. But I work at home most of the time now or nearby coffee shops, and I really like using my e-ink. Um, there you have it. That's the overview of my devices that I currently use, how I use them, what I like, what I don't like. I also have a couple on my wish list, but I'll do that in a separate video. Happy Thanksgiving!